Hi, my name is Lauren Harper, and I'm a political strategist and leader of a voter registration and voter engagement nonprofit called Secure the Ballot. Our work at Secure the Ballot is simple yet powerful. We intentionally engage Black, brown, young, and rural Americans so that they're registered to vote and they're empowered to be a change in their communities. 2020 has revealed with each passing day just how broken our systems are, and it's only by bringing more people into the fold of our electorate that we'll be able to see and enact the changes in laws we so desperately need. Here in South Carolina, we have a number of incredibly powerful demographics, particularly Black voters, young voters, and women voters. It's these voters who are going to make the final decision on who is elected at the top and all the way down the ballot. Races like the U.S. Senate race, congressional races, and state House and Senate races will all be heavily influenced by the voters of color, young people, and women who turn out to the polls on or before November 3rd. Here in South Carolina, 56% of voters in the 2018 election were women. In the February 2020 primary, women once again made up a majority of voters, totaling 59% of the electorate. Further, millennial and Gen Z voters in South Carolina account for more than 1 million of the approximately 3 million voters we have in our state. That means voters ages 18 to 40 are a third of the electorate here in South Carolina. Capturing the attention of this demographic to get out and vote can and will influence any statewide election we have. We have more than 3.5 million eligible voters in our state, and only a fraction of that number are both registered to vote and turn out to vote on Election Day. It's up to us to make sure that our friends, coworkers, people at our church, family members, neighbors, and fellow parents of our kids' sports teams are registered to vote and are planning to vote on November 3rd. Trust me, I recognize how polarizing and downright dirty politics can be at times, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be civically engaged. The more diverse, representative, and engaged our electorate is, the more diverse, representative, and engaged our elected officials will be as we elect them to office and hold them accountable. It's going to take all of us to create the changes we want to see here in South Carolina and nationally. I hope you and everyone you know will join us in that effort.
Hello, I'm Lynn Teague from the League of Women Voters. We are a century-old organization that is devoted to encouraging people to vote and informing voters. Your vote is your power to make a difference in your own life, in your community, in our state, and in our nation. Much that government does is so familiar that it goes unnoticed until something doesn't work as we would like. From potholes in the street to declarations of war, the laws and decisions that impact our lives every day are created by officials who are elected or who are appointed by people we've elected at every level of government, local, state, and national. Each of us has a voice in this, and every voice matters. Even presidential elections have been decided by a few hundred votes. School district elections, even state legislative seats, are often determined by a very small number of votes. If you care about the schools your children attend, you must vote. If you care about the quality of the water that your dog plays in and the air that you breathe, vote. If you are concerned about protecting our coastline, you have to vote. If you are concerned about treatment of our active and retired military, you need to vote. If you are concerned about the protection of the right to make your own health care decisions, vote. If you are concerned about protecting your right to a meaningful vote, you must vote. There is very little in our lives that is not affected by our elections at every level of government. Every level matters, every election matters. There are efforts to suppress votes, to discourage voting, precisely because each vote matters. If it didn't matter, nobody would bother to try to discourage it. It's your life, the life of your family, the life of your community. Don't let others make the most important decisions. Which elected officials will write our laws, enact our rules and regulations, and make the decisions that shape our lives? Thank you.
Now that you've learned why voting is important and the power that women, young people, and people of color have by casting their vote, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. how do you actually vote? It is now after the deadline for voter registration. You can check to make sure that you are registered at scvotes.gov. You just need to know the county you live in, your name, and your date of birth. After you have checked that you are registered, you can vote before Election Day. This is what we call absentee voting. Or you can vote on Election Day, November 3rd. Anyone in South Carolina can vote absentee thanks to a recent law change to help people stay safe during the pandemic. Just choose the state of emergency excuse on the absentee ballot application. To vote absentee by mail, there are 3 steps. First, apply for your absentee ballot. You can either do this online at scvotes.gov or contact your county voter registration office to have an application mailed to you. Second, complete your application and return it by mail or in person at your county voter registration office. You must return your application by 5 p.m. on October 24th. The last step for voting by mail is to actually vote. An absentee ballot will be mailed to you, and then it must be received by 7 p.m. on Election Day at your county voter registration office. You can also vote before Election Day in person. Check with your county voter registration office to find out the times and locations. You will be able to do all 3 steps, receive your application, complete the application, and vote in one visit for in-person absentee voting. You might be concerned about absentee voting due to certain false claims that voting by mail causes voter fraud. Research by Brookings with data from the Heritage Foundation found that over the course of 19 years of mail-in voting in Oregon, there were only 14 cases of fraudulent votes attempted by mail. That's 14 votes out of more than 15 million legal votes cast during the same period. That means the odds of vote by mail fraud were less likely than getting struck by lightning. Twice. Still concerned about voter fraud? You can check if your absentee ballot was received at scvotes.gov. Your other option is to vote on Election Day. Make sure to check your voting location before you head to the polls, as they may change. If you are voting in person, be prepared for long lines, bring a snack, and something to drink, because this year, as Lauren Harper said, we want you and everyone you know to come out to vote on or before November 3rd.